Cubby blue blood flowing through our veins. Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Mucho Scali.
Son Ranto.
Michael.
Son Ranto.
Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Mucho Scali.
Hey, it's the Son Ranto Show. Lungs of steel over there, infield fly girl. Hi, I'm Danny Rocket, and we are the Son Ranto Show. Michael Cotton is off tonight. He's actually on the Chicago Architecture Tour as we speak. A little sunset tour on the Chicago River, learning about the fabulous city that is Chicago. So happy Father's Day to him and all of the dads out there. Well, not all the dads, all the fathers. I'm going to say, because there's a difference between a father and a dad in my purview, which is like anybody can be a dad. And a father was somebody who fathered somebody. A father is a verb. You don't dad somebody, you father them. You know what I mean? So anyway, happy Father's Day to everybody. This show is brought to you by our 116 Patreon supporters and Blake Beard's tickets. And if you need some really great seats right down the third baseline, contact at the Blake Beard on Twitter. Also brought to you by Rogue Wave Creative for your branding, graphic, and web design needs, and the Cubs PS Plus podcast, a Northside numbers game. Thank you all. You're very special sponsors of the show. Hashtag chance in the chat to win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. And IFG. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I think I'm going to open one of these. I have cool Pride beers.
What makes them prideful?
Well, they are. I have Bowie Beer Company's Pride IPA that has this really nifty, like rainbowy thing on there, and says that sales from these are benefiting avenues for youth LGBTQIA Spirit Plus services, celebrating and supporting queer and trans youth experiencing or at risk of homelessness in our community. And this is from Astoria, Oregon. And I also have the Crikey IPA from Reuben's Brews right here in Seattle. And they are supporting the Seattle Pride Parade.
Right on. You know, I think that now, you know, with the whole Bud Light thing going on, that they're anti-trans and like Kid Rock is like shooting guns at cases of beer and stuff now. I think instead of voting now, we just show up and drink the beer that that aligns with our political views. And we'll just, you know, go up. And then as the more beers that get drunk, that's who wins the contest. And that's who we send to Washington, D.C. to represent us. The best beer, the best brewery.
I'm doing my part. Slancha.
Yeah, well, I'm drinking my yerba mate, as is tradition, out of a non-spillable mug that I manage to spill all the time. So,
good job.
So Heather Linington Noble is supposed to be by to talk about this Orioles series with us. That's who we were going to talk about first. But I don't know. She tweeted out that she was going to a Father's Day dinner. So there might have been something lost in translation with the timing. Yeah, unexpectedly. Actually, I got a message now. Last minute, dragged out to Father's Day dinner. Everything's running late. So that's where she is. Happy Father's Day to her father. But I did want to say before we get started talking about the Orioles, Heather is an Orioles super fan. And she's joined us a few times on this show to talk about the Orioles. And she has cancer right now. And she needs help kind of getting through that moment. So I'm going to drop her link tree right now. If you haven't already, Son Ranto actually donated $100 to it today out of money we raised earlier, and spreading around the love, and gave $100 from the ranters. So thank you very much to everybody that continues to support each other on this show and continue to support Heather. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, it wasn't a great
specifically, I
weekend.
know. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
know specifically that something that Heather is working on right now is raising money for an extended hotel stay that she has. The treatment that she needs is in one specific hospital that's really far away from her home. So she's going to have to be holed up in a hotel for like 6 weeks or something. And that is, as you can imagine, quite pricey. So if you have the ability to help out a fellow baseball superfan, please, please, please click on those links.
Yeah, and her let's see, Align Focale is her Twitter. LAINNFOCAILL, I think. Is that right?
One L at the end.
One L. Yeah, and you can find her link tree there as well. So and Mike Waller says, love what this pod does to support the community. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just part of like who we want to be in. And like the Cubs are fun and we like talking about the Cubs and all the games and all that. But, really it's about us and our fans and making friends and supporting each other and great causes. And this is one of them right now, helping her get through, fellow baseball enthusiast. But it wasn't a great weekend for Heather as far as the baseball went for her because the Cubs, they beat the Orioles on Friday 10-3, and then they won a squeaker 3-2 on Saturday, and then the Cubs finally lost after winning 5 straight games.
We do love our meatloaf.
Yeah, we hate winning on Sundays. We're 2-10 on Sunday, which is weird. But we lost 6-3 today. So let's start, I guess, with game one, the 10-3 romp. I go to this game with my sister and a Wrigley Field first timer who was in town from the Pacific Northwest, my sister's wife's good friend, just in awe of Wrigley Field.
How can you not be?
We got great seats actually from Mike Waller. Thank you very much, Mike. We sat right down the third base line. And she just, I just love the look on somebody's face when they come up and they see the blue skies. And it was a perfect Wrigley day, just, blue skies and the greens and the ivy. And you forget because I take it for granted because I go so much. I'm like, it looks like this, looks like that. But, to see it through somebody's eye was just so beautiful. And to get the win and to sing Go Cubs Go and a lot of home runs. Like, how about that back to back to back? It was not back to back to back, but it was Amaya, Swanson, and Morel.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, especially because that's what we're going to be looking at, hopefully for the foreseeable, Swanson's 7 years. Morel's a rookie pretty much. And Amaya's definitely a rookie.
Yeah. I think, if Miggy Amaya can stay healthy and Morel can keep himself from getting traded, I think we have a long future ahead of us with those guys. And if they can continue stringing runs together together, that's probably the best immediate chance that we have to have fun for the foreseeable future.
Absolutely. And let me put up the numbers on this week. This is just this week, sorted by OPS. And Amaya, who he actually didn't get into a lot of games, he only had 5 at bats.
Yeah.
And the one hit of his was the home run, so you'll take that. But Morel with 3 home runs on the week, so he's back. Hap had a really good week. Talkman at the leadoff hitter was really good, especially against the Pirates. And that was like kind of a little surprising that they moved him to leadoff, but he just kept getting on base.
Somebody's got to hit first.
Well, yeah, I mean, and they dropped down Nico, and now he's been coming through with men on base now. Big RBI spots coming through clutch. And so maybe it's better that he's down the lineup, especially when the bottom of the lineup can include such Cub greats as Miles Mastrobuoni and Tucker Barnhart,
I swear to God, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got a lot of guys, you got a lot of bunting on this team, but no, I mean, overall, it was a pretty good, you lose today, but it was a pretty good offensive week for these guys, putting up tons of runs against the Pirates. But I want to wait to talk to Brian about how we kicked their butts and how we're going to do it again this week. But but yeah, I mean this first game, I mean, ends 10-3, but it was actually close for most of it. And Baltimore actually, made it interesting, got to be 3-2, but it was these big innings that the Cubs were able to put up. Because we scored 3 solo shots in the third, but
Yep.
the big inning was the 6-run six, where then you're doing it without the benefit of the home run.
Right. Yeah. In the CPBL, we call that a big orange.
Why do they call it a big orange?
The Mandarin word for innings sounds like the word for orange. So if you score more than 5 runs in an inning, it's called a big orange.
Yeah, and the Cubs like having a couple of big oranges like they had. I love that. We have to adopt this. So you got a big orange, the 6-run six, and they also had a 5-run fifth at some
Love
point.
it.
It was against the Pirates at some point. And it's just like that's the thing we haven't seen. And like the other one is that forget which game we were down in and came back. Was it?
Today.
Well, I mean, we didn't win today, but
True. Oh, wait. No. Yeah, that's right. We did come from behind, but then we lost again.
yeah. I mean, oh yeah, it was the second game against the Pirates where we're down 5-1, but in that too, like you had the big inning, and that's something we haven't seen this year. And Matt Mervis goes down. So I hate to say it, but he was a total black hole in the lineup.
Yeah. You have your hopes and dreams, but if he has to make adjustments and we need a roster spot, I guess I'm hoping that he'll get more at bats in Iowa and put his stuff together, and that we'll see him again really soon. That's really all I can say.
Yeah, because what if he goes down there and just absolutely mashes again? But then, then what are you going to do? I mean, you bring him up, and you got to lose Talkman, and he's done nothing wrong. He's fine, but
can we put Morel on third base, pretty please, and send Master Boner back down?
Nope, absolutely not. He's too integral to this team. Somebody's got to make the outs. Otherwise, these games would never end.
Well, Mervis can make the outs from the DH position while Morel plays the position that he plays and continues hitting baseballs. If I were in charge, that's what we would be doing. That's what we would have done 2 months ago.
Well, but then you got like this game yesterday where Miles Mastrobuoni is like the king of like the productive out. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Gomes gets on on Saturday with a drop third strike call where Gomes actually has pretty decent wheels for an old catcher. Like,
yeah,
he's not embarrassing himself out there. So, but he gets on first base. But you'd rather have Miles Mastrobuoni. So Miles Mastrobuoni gets basically a fielder's choice, and he ends up on first base, and we sacrifice the out. But then when you got Nico coming up and hitting a double, he can score from first base at that point. You know what I mean? Like, so then you've got the wheels on the bases. So like he does bring something to the team that I don't hate. And like, but I
so hear me out.
I agree. Yeah, please.
So hear me out. Let's let Patrick Wisdom sell some tickets in Iowa for a little while.
I don't mind that either because he's kind of disappeared off the planet too. And isn't he? Well, he's on the IL, and I wondered if that was real. A real IL stint or
an IL stint, like sitting on the bench because he has a suck inflammation.
Yeah, inflammation of the suck. But I mean, it was his wrist. I want to say, I think it was. Amaya got hit today too, but they said it was in the palmy part of his hand, so it's fine. I don't know.
I hope so.
In other words, we'll never see him again because they're like, it's fine. He'll be out there tomorrow playing with.
We have a catcher that can't hit.
So, yeah, I mean the roster. It's hard to complain, and so I won't. The Cubs won 5 or 6 games. They shook up the roster. They put Mike Tauchman at leadoff. They got rid of Mervis and switched out some guys and did some different things. And after you had such a crappy road trip, I mean, the Cubs in the Pirates series scored more runs than they did on the entire 10-game road trip on the West Coast. So they scored 28 runs against the Pirates and like 26 on the road trip.
Is waking up 2 hours earlier really that bad on these guys?
I mean, it's yeah. I mean, it's always been that way. I mean, my whole life the Cubs go to the West Coast and stink. And it wasn't even as bad as it could have been. You get swept by the Angels, but you win the Giants series, you split with the Padres. But the other thing I want to point out about that Saturday game is that I really feel like the player of the game was CB Buckner
Oh,
because
absolutely.
because
That
really
was some hot garbage.
well, and it benefited us. I mean, because there was the one strike call that when the Orioles were threatening and it was against Santander and the ball was outside and it would have been like ball four or whatever. But he's just a terrible umpire. But Crawley pointed out on Twitter that at least he was consistently horrible. So he we know what we're getting with CB Buckner.
Right.
Maybe it's kind of fun as a ball player. Like, oh, CB's behind the plate. Just be hacking away, just swing at everything.
Because if you don't, it's going to be called a whatever it wasn't.
And then, yeah, exactly. So you might as well just try. Just go up there with no preconceptions. The strike zone's out the window. And then the last thing I kind of want to bring up was that today. I hate talking about losses because it's sad to me, but Tachman homered in this one to lead it off. So things start well. That was his first home run. So now he's showing a little pop, not just the OBP, and he's playing a pretty mean center field too. So I don't know, until Belly gets traded, or maybe they don't trade him, but you've got a pretty good, decent situation with Tachman who can play out there in the outfield, and Morel homers again. And then I was curious because the Cubs don't seem to be scoring a lot of runs via the home run. So it's 50.
Nobody's ever on base when they hit them.
50 of the Cubs' 79 home runs are solo shots, which seems like a lot because it's the vast majority. And so anyway, it was a Tyone start. He had 2 starts since we last spoke.
How long is he with us?
4 years, including this one. And
Yay.
and my kind of take on it is it's all been either bad or mediocre.
Right.
And this is like, okay, he's pitching like a 5th starter, but you're paying him like he's a 3 or even a 2.
Yeah. It's not ideal. I would like it if he could throw baseballs better.
I saw somebody tweet out today that he was a good candidate for comeback player of next year. I'm like, are we already there? I'm like, this is garbage.
I would like him to be the comeback player of this year.
Of this year, yeah.
That would be great. If he could be a second half comeback guy, sign me up for that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. I mean, you kind of were expecting a little bit more. I mean, we should have Brian on to talk about his feelings about Tyone when he comes and talks about, because he saw him for years with the Pirates.
Yeah.
And this game just kind of got away from the Cubs. It kind of felt like we should have lost 2 or 3. Like in that second game, we got out hit. We got really out hit today. We got out hit 14 to 3 today.
Yeah, even for the 5 minutes or something we were winning this game, I was like, this really doesn't feel like we're winning as much as it feels like the Orioles are losing. And then they came back and just destroyed us. So vindication, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but it just felt like the Orioles got, just kind of hosed here, like
yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, it was like a weird error, and like 2 of like Morel's home run. That was a 2-run homer, did not count as earned runs.
Right. Yeah, bad plays that was today. I mean, they won anyway, but today. But yeah, it just felt like they just kind of were on the wrong side of the ball. Let me put up the pitching numbers on the week just to see what we got. Jamison Tyone had the most innings with the 2 starts, 11.1 innings. And I was just told he was an innings eater, which then, if 5.56 ERA, which is actually lower than it was the last time we spoke last week. So he is improving, but they're batting .333 against him. This is just this week. that I'm talking about. But it's
Really
like
not what you want.
3 home runs in 11.1. Yeah, it's not great. Drew Smiley without a great start, but the Cubs won anyway. Marcus Stroman was pretty good. Everybody else was just kind of average. Stroh, Hendo, Steele. It was good to see him back. We're careful with him. Only the 5 innings. 4 strikeouts in those 5 innings, decent. Only 2 runs on 5 hits, and that they got those runs at the end of his outing with a single and a dong. So, but they continue to work. Use Mark Leiter a ton. Anthony K stunk today, but he's been out there a little bit, and it's nice to have a actual lefty on the team. And they're just kind of piecing it together. It was okay. I mean, Fulmer with a good week, 3 outings, no runs scored. Alzolay, nothing off of him. So, I mean.
And he got the save, which was nice.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the closer right now, at least until maybe Hoyer comes up and establishes himself and maybe they switch roles there. But at least you might have some decent back end to kind of play off of. It's interesting because we are only a couple games back of first place, and it's, you look around the league and you see the Pirates were in first place, and then they lost all week long. They just got swept by the Brewers, and then, the Cardinals, who everybody picked, are just total dog crap. And then, so nobody wants it. And the Brewers just swept the Pirates, and now they're in first place, and the Reds got all these young guys that don't know they're supposed to be bad. And so it's interesting what the Cubs may do. I mean, do you add to this group? Do you beat the Orioles 2-3? It's not too shabby of a team. You sweep the Pirates, who are in first place. You're beating. I don't know.
I mean, my heart says that we don't have the pitching for a serious playoff run. So, ultimately it's like, do you sell off in order to get more pitching so that maybe next year we can try for a serious playoff run? Or
can I add to that? That it also seems like, I don't know if there's any particular magic with this team that
I
they're
don't
like,
feel it.
yeah, that there's like, oh, remember 2023, and there was that feeling in the air, and they did so much with it. I mean, it's like they'll have their good weeks, but
I miss it so much. Like, I remember, like, if you think of like when Ian Happ really first started becoming a member of this team, and we had the whole waffle thing, the waffle maker thing, and the microphone in the dugout where he was doing like the mock interviews where he never told us what exactly they were talking about, but that like kept some vibes going in the dugout. The camera will pan on our and they're just there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, well, I don't feel like this is a team so much as a group of coworkers.
Yeah, like in an office or something. But these things can change quickly. Like something happens, some magical moment, and there's a cohesion that comes. Like you see it with these late surging teams every year. And if you are a late surging team in the NL Central, you're gonna take the division. Like
right.
It's just how it's gonna be. Some things in the chat here. Tom brings up Steele did pitch out of a lot of trouble, and this is just piggybacking on we don't have a lot of pitching. But Pincus brings up, if Hendo is actually good, you have the pitching, but do you have enough? Like, I feel like you'd need one more top end at least to slot your Hendo and your and you certainly don't have a good enough bullpen.
No,
I mean,
that's really the biggest weakness. Like we don't have a lights out anybody. We don't have anybody who throws particularly hard. We don't have guys who miss bats. Like, there's more contact in baseball this year than there has been in the longest time, and all of our pitchers rely on contact outs. Like, that is not a great strategy for success.
Yeah. Well, and then you get nickeled and dimed to death sometimes, like we did against the Reds. And you put the ball in play, and there's just a pretty good chance that it's going to fall somewhere that nobody's standing. Although, that is the way that the Cubs are built with the defense, and they've shown it even with the fourth outfielder like Tauchman making really nice plays out there. It's been impressive.
I would just like there to be the chance of some strikeouts ever. Yeah. Or like a ball being thrown more than 95 miles an hour.
Yeah, no, even out of the bullpen, we don't have anybody throwing gas usually. It's it's like I'm not sure who I mean, somebody's got to step up. Like somebody's got to, lead this team into the second half. I mean, you're playing pretty well. You just won the homestand, but it's really been kind of feast and famine. Like no bats on the road, and then they come home and score as many runs against Pittsburgh as they did the entire time they were in California. So it's just like, right. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I was kind of hoping like after you win 5, I'm like, okay, let's win 10. And then I'll start to believe, let's like, dance around first place a little bit, and then we could see. But yeah, it's just like, even the bullpen's kind of like this, well, Terry E says Merriweather is 99 miles per hour, but he's about it. Yeah, exactly. He throws as fast as anybody. But he's an example of some guy who has been pretty good lately, but I don't think that he's going to be good the whole time. It's like Fulmer was bad. Now he's good. Like, it's like these guys, nobody's
reliable.
Yeah, nobody's got like a 1 ERA that you're like, and this dude is just going to shut you down. There's no way you're getting any hits. Like, you don't have a real like 1-2 punch in the 8th and 9th innings to take care of these really tight games. So I don't know. It was fun week. I'd hate to be negative at the end of a fun week conversation, but we should talk about more of the fun parts when we come back. And when we come back, we're going to bring Brian Ziegler, my really good old friend. I met him one time on the New York City subway because he was reading a Frank Zappa book. That was really all it takes to get a conversation from me. So I'm going to play a quick commercial. But before I do want to thank everybody that came to the Bleacher Bum Band show on Saturday. I felt so supported. And, making an album is a lot of hard work, and to sit there with all the music. And it was really a labor of love for me. And to see a full room of people that were like singing along and enjoying the music and like talking to each other and becoming more friends with each other, people who had never met, meeting in that room together. It just makes me so happy. Here's a picture. This is a good one. Bill Sugas took this one. This is us. There's Bleacher Jeff and me, screaming it out there at the show. And also special thanks to Corey Furlong, who bought us. This is the second venue we went over to, Almost Home, with a bunch of us that were still straggling around. And this Malort shot that's in my hand was my first drink in a month and a half. It's all I drank that day. So, but I think that might be my thing, that I just do shots of Malort for free. And that's the only thing I ever drink. That's very Chicago of me. Anyway, thank you, Corey Furlong. Sent me $100. You can see maybe a couple familiar faces in there. There's Joe Wrigleyville Bum way in the back. There's Alan, Irish Allen, and Cody Del Mendo from Chuggo there right behind me. So we had a great time. And thank you so much to everybody. Later on in the show, we're going to play a couple of songs off the Bleacher Bum Band album. Jarrett Gable, otherwise known as Guy Sirius, is going to join us. Cool. As well later in the show. He's the bass player for the band and also a very old friend of mine. So we're going to play a commercial and we'll be right back. And all right. Chance in the chat. All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a Super Ranter today. Welcome back. And of course, Super Ranters can join us in our Discord channel, which is private. If you join at patreon.com/sunranto and become one of our awesome supporters. Thank you so much for all that. Do that and support us and keep us live on the air. Welcome to the show, Frank Zappa enthusiast, Pirates fan, Brian Ziegler. Oh, there he is, reading the book.
Oh my goodness.
Hey!
Can we reenact the moment real quick, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
absolutely.
Cool. All right. So imagine we're on the New York City. We're waiting on, I believe, it's at 68th Street, Hunter College stop on the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
I have no idea what I was doing there. None.
Yeah, I lived near there. So I go. There's this dude reading a Zappa book. So there you are. Hey,
imagine
dude,
my hair's longer and I'm
hair's longer. Looks like a little rock and roll boy. And I go, hey, dude, you into Zappa?
Huh? What?
Zappa. I got a band. We kind of do Zappa like stuff.
Oh no! Oh my God! I'm in a band and everyone hates us. And
dude, everyone hates us too. You want to be best friends and play music together for the next 20 years?
Let's play in Brooklyn for nobody, man. That would make me so happy.
High five. That's a reenactment. Brian, I don't know if you have met IFG and Feel Fly Girl, but I'll reintroduce you guys if you haven't. So we're gonna turn back the clock to earlier in the week where the Cubs put up a beat down on your Buccos.
Let's not.
They put up 28 runs. They won 11-3, 10-6, 7-2. The Pirates bullpen, you added this. You said the Pirates bullpen collapsed like the Tacoma Narrows Bridge.
Yeah. We're allowed to joke about that now, right? That's okay.
I don't even know about the Tacoma. Is that the bridge that just collapsed?
No. That's the one in Washington State. Like you see videos of it where the bridge is going like this.
Oh yeah.
And then it kind of just
cool like emo rock bands make music videos with that.
That's it.
You know, 9 Inch Nails. It's like, you know.
That's the one. And I figured, okay, that's old enough. I can get away with the joke, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I don't think anybody's offended here. So Jameson Tyone. Could you tell us about this guy? Because he went out there in this first game, and you saw him for years, and he was one of those dudes that he never quite put it together, and then he went to the Yankees, and he was okay, and I don't know.
Yeah,
what's your opinion?
I think there are two Yankees I've ever rooted for in my life, which were Kutch and Tyone. I mean, he's a great guy. The problem is he is an ancient 31-year-old. I mean, when you look at, he's had multiple surgeries on his arm, and people forget he had cancer, and I think it might just be that his body has just taken such a beating. Yeah, I mean, he's relatively young for a starting pitcher, but man, he's been through a lot. And he had one smoking season with the Pirates, one pretty good season with the Yankees, but he was playing on a 100-win Yankee team that year too. So that helps the wins and losses. His ERA was still close to 4 that year.
Well, we're paying him about $17 million a year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, would you say that was probably dumb?
That's a little bit of an overpay. Yeah. No,
kind
I
of-
mean, I heard you guys talking earlier. I mean, he is a 3 or a 4 probably at this point. He's not as bad as he's looked, but he's not a 17 mil a year guy at this point in his career either. I don't think he'll ever get that. I'd like to see it, but I don't think he's going to get it back.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's what I wanted to hear.
So, and then the other guy on your team, it was actually from Chicago, Jack Sawinski,
Yeah,
comes out and after a lengthy rain delay, he's got 2 home runs in this game. They end up losing anyway. But
Yeah.
who is this guy?
He's been kind of flying under the radar because he strikes out so much. But, in about a season's worth of at-bats, he's hit 30 some home runs. I mean, and last year he was hit with a lot of power, but his average was so bad he actually got demoted to AAA. But
We got guys like that.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of power on this team, and boy, that is a Chicago name. I mean,
Yeah,
Jack Sawinski. That could have been one of the guys on the Bears bid on SNL.
It's Jack Sawinski. Hey, I'm having a heart attack. Give me another sausage.
Yeah, but he's a decent fielder too. He's probably above average center fielder. He's not the quintessential center fielder, but he's actually pretty good.
Well, and your bullpen really did implode in game 2.
Yeah.
I mean, Beto, Beto,
yeah.
Beto, yeah. Beto was awesome against us, and he's like a rookie. He was impressive. I had good seats for this game. I was sitting right down front. He had 6 strikeouts and 4 innings pitched. He was freaking really impressive. And I don't know if this guy was on your prospect list, and no, just okay. So just a dude, that's cool. I love that story.
No, they threw him to the Wolves. He's 27. He was not even on their top 30.
Oh, wow.
The thing is, they've got a couple of guys. Quinn Priester is probably the top pitching prospect, and the Pirates are always gun shy about bringing guys up, and they don't want to hurt his confidence. So they just kind of brought Beto up to throw him to the Wolves for one game, and it went well enough that he's sticking around for at least another. I mean, I don't think he's a long-term answer in the rotation, but we certainly take another performance like last week out of him.
And then we also had LL Ortiz. That was the marquee matchup of Tyone versus LL. Ladies love Ortiz. And we got a little Rob Zastryzny appearance. Now, he was a starter for us, kind of. I mean, starter quotes. But Robbie, and then they moved into the pen. How's he been for you guys? I mean, he stunk in this game. He gave up 3 runs.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been up for long anyway. And frankly, I think he's only up because of the incredible run of bullpen injuries. I mean, almost half the pitching staff's on the IL at this point.
Goodness.
So yeah, I mean, he is what he is. And the thing is, we don't have any left-handers to begin with. So
that sounds familiar. We just got one. It took like 3 months. We had a reverse splits guy only for like the longest time. That's all we've been going with. But your Contreras, I guess they were riding him in that second game because this is the game the Cubs came back and won. Yeah. They were losing 5-1. I was like, oh, we're going to lose this one. And then they had a 5-run, 5th. Is that when they scored all those runs?
Yeah.
But they came back and like big time, but it was all off that dude Contreras because they were using him for a second inning of work and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, he started the season in the rotation and he was kind of like a second tier prospect and he just has not had it this year. They don't want to demote him. But even the long relief stuff hadn't worked. I don't know if he'll be on the roster much longer. He's got options, so he'll probably end up back in Indianapolis.
And then you got a guy named Holderman who couldn't hold her, man. He was terrible. Your bullpen looked really bad. I was like saying you guys were pretty good, that if you had the lead that you could hold it, and then you couldn't.
Yeah.
Hold her, man.
Well, for an 8th inning guy, he's another one of these guys who kind of came out of nowhere, and he has been solid up until recently. It's weird as a Pirates fan to come into the 7th inning with a lead and feel comfortable is too strong a word.
You could have
never
just
got
stopped
there.
at the first part of that seventh. It's weird to be in the seventh inning with the lead, like.
But I mean,
period.
Holderman and Bednar were solid. Even some of the guys like Moreta and Hernandez, and just the entire bullpen melted down at the exact same time. I mean, you expect you guys know, you expect like Dwayne Underwood to suck, and Zastrisny, and but the guys we've been counting on to do well late in the games are the ones that were melting down.
God, if you have our discarded bullpen guys, I mean,
y'all are in trouble.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll say this overall. I mean, and I got a question for you. First of all, do you think the Pirates, because they have enjoyed a lot of time in first place, do you think that they would maybe add to the squad just to give Pittsburgh hey, we made the playoffs. Look at us. We're doing stuff. Buy some tickets, a little song and dance, a little dog and pony. I
really, really hope not.
It's the exact opposite of what the Cubs fans are saying. Like, go ahead to the squad.
But the thing is, I don't think this is the year. Like they don't have a first baseman. This isn't the year. You've got so many prospects coming up, and it's not the time, And they've made some bad trades the last couple of years, in circumstances where they were trying to add. Who is the pitcher? I'm trying to. It's so bad. Archer, when they traded for Chris Archer back in 2019 and gave away the farm for him, and of course he stunk the whole time he was here. But I mean, they've got enough talent coming up in the next year or two that to add to this squad. I mean, I think Pirates fans are excited enough, frankly, to be sniffing 500 and to even be thinking about the third wild card this late in the season is a bonus.
You might have a better chance winning the division than the third wild card.
True.
Actually,
yeah.
And Terry E asks in the chat, is it true that Mel Gibson drives the Pirates bus?
I was hoping I was going to get through this without addressing that. That was,
Yeah. So did you hear
it's funny, but
this,
it's terrifying.
Yeah. Did you hear the story about the Pirates bus ride in Milwaukee?
Yeah. And to Milwaukee of all places.
Well, yeah, usually you're coming back from Milwaukee, drunk. It's not coming from Chicago. But bus driver was wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
The bus driver for the Pittsburgh Pirates arrested for DUI while transporting the team to play the Brewers. So
it's a hilarious story. I guess, like usual, they contract a bus company to transport the team from point A to point B, and they have a police escort that's taking them. And the police are like, why isn't this dude following us? Why is he all over the road? Why does this dude keep dipping away from the escort? What's going on? And they have to pull over the guy that they are escorting. And they're like, oh man, this guy is just shit hammered.
Yeah, actually, I got to admit, Mel Gibson was I was going to go with Jung Ho Gong if I had to make a. But
Jung Ho Gong got the job as
driving the bus. Yeah,
driving the bus. That's hilarious. He probably had a couple of Cubs beer bats full of
Natty Bo, and I don't know.
Yeah. By the way, did you know Fanatics is now selling this? They're selling the beer bat. It's $25, which is actually $5 cheaper than buying it at Wrigley Field.
Right.
But I'm going to drop the link for it in the chat. It was very popular. I think some people bought it.
I'm assuming that off of Fanatics, it doesn't come half full of beer foam.
Yeah, no, and you could pour some good beer, like one of your rainbow beers that you got.
There you go.
Yeah, you could probably pour the whole thing in that thing.
Man, I could get one of those bat mounts and put it up here on the wall somewhere. I'd stick it up there in the ivy, I think.
I was talking to Cody Del Mendo because when the Cubs win and he's doing a post-game show on Chuggo, he's been chugging a beer bat full of Goose Island or something like that because they sponsor the show.
Challenge accepted.
So I told him, well, now he's having people race him, which is just great. But I was wondering if we could turn the beer bat into a beer bong,
right?
Where you could do the what's it called, shotgunning,
right?
When you just put a hole in the bottom and you pour it in the top, and right in there. So,
Hey, did I ever tell you about the time I shotgunned a glass of vodka on stage?
oh God.
I was up on stage. We were near the end of the show, and the bouncer from the club comes down and puts down a beer glass on stage with a couple of ice cubes and clear liquid. And I'm like, oh, because you know how much I sweat on stage.
Yeah,
Like,
he's like, water.
what a
thank you."
sweetheart.
Thank
He brought
God,
me
a glass
water.
of water.
Well, unbeknownst to me, he had enjoyed the show. He said to my girlfriend, what is Brian like? And she's like, they have vodka, anything with vodka in it's fine. So he gets me a beer glass full of vodka. So I'm thinking it's water. I just take it and throw it back.
Oh no.
And
Bless your heart.
it's funny because I usually don't drink much like before or during the show.
Yeah.
So, and I was instantly drunk. Like,
well, yeah, you drink a pint glass full of vodka with a couple ice cubes in it. Yeah, you're gonna be done. You can't drive now. Like you're finished.
And thank God we were in the last song. I turned to the keyboard player. I'm like, "You're gonna have to sing, man." He's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I'm trashed." But yeah,
Love it.
good time.
I have to. Oh,
So
go ahead.
Matt Barth writes in, sometimes I like to dig a hole in the backyard, bury myself in dirt, and pretend I'm a carrot. So
A baby carrot.
yeah, baby carrot.
Aw.
I assume that's somebody you know, Brian. Matt Barth. Okay,
Yeah.
I figured as much. I'm like,
Yeah.
Brian has a lot of fun songs. What are you working on right now?
I'm
Besides your
actually
pirate fandom.
I haven't been writing in a long time, and I've kind of forced myself to get going again. And I've been writing some new material. Threw a new name on it. I think I told you last time. 10-4 Dinosaur. Just kind of similar to the stuff you're doing. I think just not the baseball focus. Just more about I'm 50. So working on some new songs. Yep, exactly.
I'm all about it.
It's dad rock, top to bottom.
So, can we preview this series a little bit? You told me that your catcher, Austin Hedges, who he managed to hit his only home run of the year against the
last
Cubs.
week.
So proud.
Yeah, but he stinks overall. And they're bringing up a guy named Henry Davis, who's the #1 pick of 2021.
Yeah,
and he's getting called up. So what's going on?
I tell you, he's a stud. I don't know if he's going to stick behind the plate long term. He's like 6'2", 210, but it's not Spanky LaValliere body. This guy's built. He can hit. They've been playing him some in the outfield, but the thing is, his bat is good in the outfield. As a catcher, it's phenomenal. Got
Nice.
a good contact, really good power. And he's one of these guys who's kind of grown up before his time. He's mature. He's something. And Hedges has been so bad. I think the surprise is the Pirates, of all things, have two really hot catching prospects. Andy Rodriguez is in AAA too, who we got from the Mets. And like, it's a nice problem to have. A lot of teams can't find one catcher, and we got two coming up.
Yeah. And I mean, you don't sign Austin Hedges because you need production. I mean, the guy couldn't hit the ground if he fell out of a tree.
No. And yeah, he was clearly a 1-year signing because they knew they had two guys knocking at the door. You figure at least one's going to work out. And again, nice problem to have, but they're both working out.
That's nice.
And you said he's supposed to be like a defensive guy, which you better be if you have a career 188 average. You better be a freaking defensive whiz. But you said he wasn't even doing that well.
Not this year. I mean, in years past, he was. I gave you guys a fun fact. He might have, if you counted this in WAR, he's had 4 catcher's interferences this year.
Oh, bless.
In 4 games that we lost by 1 run.
Oh,
so he's, maybe he split those 2 50-50, whatever. I mean, he's just been not good. But I mean, Davis was ready, so, and he'll be up. I don't know if he's going to be playing tomorrow, but he'll be up for the series for sure.
Well, I just wonder if they're making moves like this because they feel like it could spark the team on to winning more, that they're like, hey, why not win the Central? Who cares? Let's let our young guys get that experience of playing in those big games, because that is really valuable if you have a shot, which we all do.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Get hot for 1 month and you're in.
Yeah. And I think it's better to bring him up to let's say they're a 500 team. In April they were great. In May they sucked. This month they've been up and down. But let's say they're about where their average is now. He's coming up to a much better clubhouse than it would have been last year at this time, when everyone knew it was all over and the team sucked. And this year he's coming up into certainly a better clubhouse.
Yeah, that's. The Pirates. I tell you, seeing them, and I know we swept you and scored a bunch of runs. To me, I was like, oh, they're not scary at all.
No.
And I was like, oh, maybe the Pirates are arriving. But then, like, as I was kind of looking at it, I was like, nah,
I don't think this is real.
Yeah, it just felt that way. So there's that, and then, but it made me wonder, like, if you would choose to get scary sooner than later because you could. And
no, you would need. You know what? If it were a circumstance where we just needed one, like a lot of the roster was surprising, and we just needed one more pitcher or just one more bat, but it's not that.
The whole Central's like that, though.
Well, that's true. But I just
we're not, because Cubs are more than one move away from really competing.
I mean, and not that I don't want them to add at all, but I don't want them to give away the
what you have.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's an example. Like, we've got a decent number of pretty good middle infield prospects. Like, I think we could help someone like Marcano, who's not a long-term piece, but he's a nice middle infielder, decent contact bat. If someone's looking for someone like that and can give us the first baseman near the end of his career who can actually hit.
And I love his name is Tucupita Marcano.
Yeah.
And he's actually from Tucupita, Venezuela.
Yeah.
So his name is the same as his town.
Yep.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. But in that case, my name would be Elgin. Not a bad name.
Mine would be Staten Island. So.
We're just Staten for short, maybe.
Better than Salisbury. Yeah, you both got me beat.
Salisbury. Hey, all of a sudden there's a couple digits on your bank account with a first name like Salisbury. Name
either that or your face on the box of a microwave dinner.
Yeah, one or the other. This is America, after all.
It wouldn't be the first time, unfortunately.
So these games, they're at 6:10 Central, the first two anyway. The other one's in the morning at 11:30. So morning baseball.
Oh, 9 a.m. to watch my beloved.
Dick Mountain on the mound, in game 3. I can't wait. No, that is the game I wish I could go to, because you've got Hendo versus Hill.
Yeah.
Dick Mountain versus Kyle Hendricks. That is the marquee matchup for me.
That's worth 9 a.m. baseball.
Slow ballers going at it.
But I tell you, Hill has been. I was not a believer when they signed him. I got to be honest. I'm thinking this is another one of these one-year guys. He's just here to eat some innings. He has nothing. And then you watch that curveball. Like, what the hell is going on?
Bugs Bunny.
It is. And you look at it, you go, I think I could damn near hit that. But you've got Major League just flailing away like idiots. If he's on now, of course, the problem is if it's not moving, it's just a meatball, But when he's got that movement, he's brutal. It's a good signing. I like him.
Yeah, combined age of starters 109.
Just that day. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then so we got that. That's on Wednesday. So working backwards, that we had Johan Oviedo, who we just saw this week and beat. So you wrote he's tall. He's 6'5", tall. Yeah, he did look tall.
I'll drink of water.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I feel like I say this a lot on this podcast, but he's not as bad as he looked last week. He's nothing phenomenal. He's a back end guy. He throws gas. He has a decent slider. He just doesn't have the control he needs, and whether that'll ever show up. He's young yet, but he's you never know what Oviedo's going to show up.
Yeah, and then Beto we already talked about, but he did great against the Cubs, and that was his first start, right? So, and now he's sticking around because he was good against us, even though we beat the bullpen that day. So, should be interesting. I found this. The Cubs and the Pirates are pretty evenly matched opponents. So they both
Which
have
I don't think makes either one of us happy.
exactly. We're like, well, we both are mediocre. 724 OPS tied for 14th. The Cubs and the Pirates. That's how similar we are. The Reds, by the way, just right above us at 729. Also incredibly average. So it could be worse, but it could be better, kind of thing. And the other thing that the NL Central does really well is that we are third, fourth, and fifth in taking walks. The Cubs, Reds, and the Pirates. And we're all walk takers. Where the Pirates excel is in stolen bases, fourth in the league. And but the bullpens of the Cubs and the Pirates have both been below average. Pirates have a 4.37 ERA. Cubs have a 4.44. And the Pirates got no swing and miss stuff out of the pen. Sixth fewest Ks out of the pen. So I'd be surprised if you did win the Central.
Oh, I would too. A lot of the stolen bases are coming from one guy. G1 Bay. I'm not quite sure what to make of him, but when he's on base, he's just a terror. He's also a very pretty man, and I'm not afraid to say so. But he's got 20 stolen bases this year. But the thing is, they're kind of given with it being a little easier to steal this year. They're kind of giving the green light to the whole roster, which you didn't really see. I mean, Kutch has 7 stolen bases. And he's still got some wheels, but are you really going to let a 36-year-old man run? Yeah, you are.
Yes.
Well, that's what kind of bad teams do. We've identified that, and this year it's different because you got the big bases and they can't throw over and all that stuff. But I feel like you have to generate runs because you're not going to get the big fly to do it for you, and you're not going to have that many big innings. You have to string hits together, and it's just a hell of a lot more easier to score from second base than it is first. So
you guys got plenty of big innings last week. I don't know about your theory.
Well, no, we weren't. We hadn't been doing that at all.
Yeah.
We hadn't been scoring really at all. Like, I mean, period, end of story. Like, we hadn't been scoring runs. And then against the Pirates, they just got good. But against the Orioles, it really wasn't that great. And I know Orioles are your second team.
Yeah. I grew up in Maryland, and I don't really follow the team anymore, so I don't know much of what's going on. But I mean, I grew up in Maryland, kind of. But that was back in the Ken Singleton, Eddie Murray days. So that for what that tells you.
Yeah. Well, they were good in '83.
Yeah.
Cal Ripken streak, you were there.
And '79.
Yeah. So I want to bring somebody onto the show real quick before we take a commercial break, because she's back from Father's Day dinner.
Nice.
And Heather Linington Noble is going to join us quickly. And hi, Heather.
Do we have you? Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Okay, good.
How was I just wanted to bring you on real quick. We already talked about the Orioles series, but I figured we'd have you on just to wish, say hi and how was Father's Day dinner and all that stuff. But also to get your take on what that Orioles series looked like. Something we just said earlier was that we felt like we could have very easily lost Saturday, and we did lose today, but that the ball just wasn't bouncing your way on Saturday. Yeah. How did it feel watching the Orioles in this series? It really feels
being attacked by a tiny fluffy gray monster. No, I feel pretty similar to that second game was pretty winnable for us, and that they just didn't follow through. The Orioles have this tendency, and this has been going on for seasons, it's not just this year. They will have these monstrous offensive outputs, whether or not it's total run production or hits, and then just not hit before or after. So their starting pitching has actually been very good for this past month, with only one game where the starters have given up more than 4 runs. but we've had issues with some injury with our offense. Cedric is off.
Cedric,
Ryan
yeah.
Mountcastle is dealing with his vertigo. And then apparently there is a stomach bug going through the clubhouse right now. So hopefully,
Y'all been hanging out with the
give it
Blue
all.
Jays or what?
Well, yes, yes, in fact. So that's why Gunnar was scratched at the very last second today, where he was going to be leading off and then didn't. But they still managed to get 14 hits and 2 walks today.
Yeah, and you out-hit us Saturday too.
Yeah. And I do also wonder, like, how much the offensive players just aren't feeling very good. And if that might have impacted them a bit on Saturday.
Wrigley was rocking too. I mean, the fans were really into it, and Orioles fans really showed up, and that's just a fun group of people. I saw a lot of Orioles jerseys running around. Love if you can. Have you ever been to Wrigley Field?
I haven't. We were going to go this weekend, and because my husband's brother lives in Chicago, so we were the pre-cancer plan when the schedule came out was for us to spend this weekend in Chicago and go to all those games, but best laid plans and all of that.
Well, luckily, I mean, or unluckily, there's a balanced schedule, and now at least every other year there will be games here, Chicago. But Brian, your sister lives in Chicago area too, right?
Yeah.
You guys have that in common.
We went to a Cubs game for her wedding. The day before the wedding, we all went out to Wrigley and went to a game. So yeah.
We got a question in the chat for you, Heather, from Terry. Does Jim Palmer ever age?
Don't think so.
Yeah.
Those were my days. I grew up with, man, you want to talk about starting rotation. Sorry. I grew up with like him, Steve Stone, Dennis Martinez, Mike Flanagan. I mean, just monster 4-man rotation.
And he's great in the booth though, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Cub fans were actually tuning in to the Orioles broadcast and really, and I guess Jim Palmer did a couple innings, or they switched booths or something like that, like Girardi, because today was on Peacock, which I thought it was.
Oh, I hate that.
I know the game was really early.
Jim did all of the game today.
Yeah, so Cub fans were listening to Jim Palmer. I saw that they were enjoying it. I also enjoyed that Cub fans were complaining that it was on the cock. I thought that was funny. They weren't even. I was like, yeah, pretty much. Everybody was not happy.
I was annoyed that I couldn't watch it because I have Peacock through my cable provider, but I can't log into it via the app. So
it's funny. I actually think Peacock does a better job than I expected of broadcasting the games. It's just bullshit that if you buy the package, you still have to go to like 4 different places to get all your games. Yeah, even the MLB package doesn't get you your full season.
And Apple TV too.
If anything, I just wish the MLB app would integrate with those other things. Like, let me put my Apple ID into the MLB app so I don't have to figure out what frickin' channel I need to go to right now.
Yeah, constantly logging in and password changes and what account. But I loved the Orioles too, like growing up in Virginia as a kid. Because let me tell you, I just love the orange and the black. Yeah. I think that the little laughing bird up I just think it's such a great logo. It's just a lot of fun. It's a kind of a classic American League team, and
it's like the only happy, wholesome, cheerful like bird or animal logo. All of the rest of them, through basically any other pro sport, they're all just angry and fierce and are showing you how like badass you are. And the Oriole bird is just like doody doody doo, and that's why I love him or her.
We don't. Well, it's I don't know. Is it how like the boy birds are usually more colorful you know, and because I don't know, so they can get more eaten by predators and there are not a lot of dude birds around or something. And is that how Orioles are too? I don't know if like it's in
I
the female
don't
pairs are playing.
know off the top of my head. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Now you're making me curious.
Yeah, just what I'm wondering because you have that. What's his name? Your Oriole bird.
Yeah.
What's the mascot's name?
Oriole bird.
Oh,
It just is that.
yeah.
They didn't call him like Fred the Oriole or something. All right, well that's good.
I
messing
have
around.
some
I like that.
dark
No.
Orioles memories, but
Yeah, no, female Oriole birds look basically the same.
Oh, that's interesting too. So they're they're also non-binary birds that look the same as. I like that.
the last Orioles game I went to was it was April. It was really, really cold and rainy, and I was out in Baltimore. You know, my dad lived in Baltimore, and I was out visiting there. And as a Christmas gift, he'd gotten me He knew I'd be coming down, so he got me tickets for a game. I'm like, this is great. I haven't been there in forever. And around about the 7th inning, this message flashes up on the screen. For the moment, we're not letting people leave. There's a slight disturbance outside. So I figure, someone got, I don't know, someone got mugged. The cops are arresting some crazy person, whatever. Turns out the Freddie Gray riots had started that night. I was actually at a ball game that night.
You were strapped inside for quite some time.
Yeah.
Like they made you stay in the stadium for a couple hours.
That was versus the Royals, right?
And it was that's the thing that gets lost to history. It was like a great game. A seesaw game. The Orioles came back and won. But and of course, had it happened 20 years earlier, no one would have known what was going on, but everyone's bringing it up on their phone, what's going on outside. And it was an interesting night.
And it's such an amazing city too. I love Baltimore. I visited there a couple years ago, and the next time the Cubs go back there, I would so consider like going to that city. They got the Babe Ruth Museum, and just in the seafood downtown and the different bars and down by the wharf. It's just awesome.
But all three of us are spoiled. The Cubs, Orioles, and Pirates are all spoiled with our ballparks.
Yeah, we all three.
Very true.
It is true. So I do want to drop. We're going to play a couple. We're going to bring on after the next commercial break. We're going to bring on the guy, Sirius Jarrett Gable, the bass player of the Bleacher Bum Band, and play a couple of songs off the Bleacher Bum Band's new album. You guys are welcome to stick around and listen to it. I know, Heather, you've been out to dinner. Maybe you got to take off. I know it's an hour later where you are, so you're more than welcome to take off when we go to commercial. But I did want to drop the link to Heather, your link tree in the chat here. So thanks to all the ranters that have been helping us raise money for all sorts of different things. I don't know if you saw that the Sun Ranto ranters did put $100 towards there's a bunch of different ways that you can help you out right now, Heather, but we did put it in one of the cash one. We just gave you cash. But then there's hotel points you're looking for right now because you got to stay to get treatment.
Yeah, the big things that I'm looking for right now are Hilton Rewards points and cash, because I have to spend 8 weeks at a hotel in DC at the end of the year, and I've got to start saving up for that now because that's going to be expensive. So while I'm getting a fancy form of radiation that you can't get here, and that's what's theoretically, hopefully, going to save my life. So,
well, that's what we're hoping for too.
Got to do it. Yeah.
So please help out. It's Linktree /healing Heather RN. Or no, Heather N.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just my maiden name. My friends were too lazy to put the L in there.
So please give to that. And Brian, you're more than welcome. Stick around. I know you're a fellow musician. I don't know if you heard our stuff, but we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're also got a couple poems from our poetry contest. We are still giving away. This is going out on all June. Ooh, things are falling on me. We have Sandra's book here, Sandra Marchetti's book, aisle 228. It's going to go to the winner. Will be the Ranter Poet Laureate. She already signed it over. So we're going to read some of those, and we will be right back after this. commercial break. Stuff. Hey, Cubs fans, at Amazon.com, do you buy lots of stuff? Why not support the Son Ranto Show by shopping through sonranto.com/stuff? All you gotta do is fill your cart at Amazon with lots of stuff. Then before you check out with all of that wonderful stuff, head on over to sonranto.com/stuff and click any of our Amazon links before you buy your stuff. Check out like you normally would with all that beautiful stuff. And the Son Ranto Show will get a small kickback because of the stuff you bought. And you'll be helping the Son Ranto Show buy all the stuff we need to stay on the air talking about the Cubs and other stuff. Plus you could win a monthly prize if some of your is chosen for Amazon stuff of the month. And if you win, we'll send you more stuff. Sonranto.com/stuff. That address again is sonranto.com/stuff.
Do you ever find yourself longing for long walks and talks about Ketchermetrics? How about a coffee or a run differential? Maybe a candlelit dinner dissecting what exactly is the curious case of Miles Mastrobuoni? If you have, I have just the place for you, the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Come join us. Cubs PS Plus, a Northside numbers game, can be found wherever it is you get your podcasts, and on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Cubs PS Plus, a spin on the baseball metric OPS Plus. Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go.
I did check out that Cubs PS Plus show, and he had Alex Cohen on from the Iowa Cubs. They announced that. It was really interesting hearing his perspective on what's going on personally with some of the guys that are bouncing around between Iowa and the big league team. Jarrett Gable, welcome to the Son Ranto Show yet once again. The bass player for the Bleacher Bum Band. Also, Brian Ziegler is still here, and IFG, our stalwart constant up in the upper right-hand corner. So, Jarrett, tell me about your experience real quick about being involved with the Bleacher Bum Band and our CD release yesterday. Kind of want to hear how you felt it went and everything. We both have our own perspectives, and your perspectives on finishing this album and sharing it with Cubs fans.
Yeah, it's so exciting for me because I've never really been part of a full album getting released until this time. And I thought the show went really good yesterday. It's only our second show with our new drummer, but we're getting tighter and we're getting more comfortable and things. And so, I thought Steve Garvey sounded great.
Yeah, well, we got a song, and I wanted to play a couple songs off the album, just kind of listening party out the end of this show a little bit. And so I'll play this one first. It's called Steve Garvey's Hairy Arms.
Perfect.
And yeah, Brian's laughing because he knows what we're talking about, because in 1984, those of you that are maybe a little younger that don't remember 1984, Jared and I were 10. Brian, we were probably about 12 years old or something like that. And Steve Garvey hit a home run in Game 4 of the NLDS off Lee Smith in the bottom of the ninth to win the game. And then the next day, the Cubs went on to lose Game 5. And, Chicago, which had that magical team that year and really swept, I know, Jared and I up into its Chicago magic of that year. I just became an instant Cubs maniac in
Me too, a lifelong Cubs fan based on that one year.
Yep.
And my first baseball tears were shed in 1984. So this is a song that really kind of encapsulates my first baseball heartbreak, which I don't think I was alone in that. So I'm going to play a song called Steve Garvey's Hairy Arms, and just you go ahead and comment in the chat and stuff. All right, we'll be right back.
Deep right field, way back, cut a man back to the wall. It's gone. Home run, Garvey, and there will be tomorrow. to 10 in 1984. Before I drank an old stout or my first shot of Malort. The Cubs played San Diego to be champs of VNL. Won the first 2 games at Wrigley, then it all went to hell. The Padres put up 7 to put away Game 3. A homer off of Frazier and 5 on Eckersley. Then in a seesaw battle in critical Game 4, the Cubbies lit up Gossage and they evened up the score. In Lee Smith's second inning in the bottom of the 9th, he got a strikeout swinging, everything was going fine. Then Lee gave up a single off the bat of Tony Gwynn. Steve Garvey hit a home run, the Padres got the win. He ran around the bases with his fist held in the air. His wrist up to his elbow is all covered in hair. It's a painful memory that broke my prepubescent heart. But I got PTSD from Steve Garvey's area. Steve Garvey's area. Then on a sunny Sunday, the Cubs led in Game 5. Durham and Davis homered, our hopes were still alive. The Padres got a couple in the bottom of the 6th. Owed some singles and some sac flies, gave it up by Sutcliffe. The bottom of the 7th started with the lead-off walk. They sacrificed the second, Templeton bunted the ball. Tim Flannery, a pinch hitter, was sent up to the plate. He hit the ball to Durham and it went right through his leg. Martinez came around and quickly evened up the score. Tony Gwynn hit a double and added on 2 more. Steve Garvey hit a single, it bounced right off the mound. Fry finally got Sutcliffe, brought in the lefty Trout. Steve Garvey stood triumphantly there clapping on the base with his conservative haircut and his stupid handsome face. But I was at home crying, I really took it hard. But the thing that gives me nightmares is Steve Garvey's area. Steve Garvey's area. Steve Garvey devastated me when I was just a boy, and then went 4 for 20 in the series versus Detroit. But all his baby mama love, his suave and dashing charm, while my childhood got demolished by Steve Garvey's area. Steve Garvey's area.
Well, that's Steve Garvey's hairy arms. I wanted to show this picture, Brian, you could have done this, but we were talking about dads in the chat. This is Brian's dad. I couldn't get it transferred over to my computer for some reason, so I'm just going to show this picture of Brian's dad, who died last year of cancer. I know the Ranters did something for you, Brian, and to commemorate your father, and you just said in the chat that you wanted to donate your Hilton points to Heather. So that's awesome.
Sure.
So
if anybody, it's kind of convoluted the way to actually donate those Hilton points. So if anybody is listening and wants to donate to Heather's Hilton Rewards Points Fund, DM me on Twitter. I'm at Infield Fly Girl, just this right here, and I'll get you all that information so we don't have to bother Heather with it.
Cool.
Very cool. And thanks for Brian for doing that. And so as long as we were talking about dads, I lost my dad to cancer back in 1998, but he was kind of a wild guy. I did pull this to show everybody. I tweeted this out. He wrote this little book of short stories called The Logic of Lunacy: Tales for Pleasure Reading in Your Fallout Shelter. And so if you wonder where I get it from, it's from him. And this is the other thing that I actually found this just a couple of years ago. I had never really read everything that he had put out there, but this is the end of his cover letter that he wrote, because he wrote a trilogy, which he described as a modern myth. It's a long, very long book that I've read most of. Anyway, he says, this is the last line of his cover letter. At your invitation, I would like to submit my world myth for your consideration. The possibilities for profits to your company are staggering. Well, I think I got a new closing line for pretty much every Son Ranto show.
That's great.
So anyway, I thought that was kind of fun. But anyhow, Jarrett, your father, he's the only one that's still alive.
Yeah, my father's still alive. He's still working. He'll be 82 in a couple weeks. And
That's awesome.
That's great.
Still golfing.
Still drinking too.
Great.
Still drinking, still golfing. Yeah, he's still working.
Here's the dream.
Yeah.
Well, tell him happy birthday from me if we don't talk before then.
Okay, thanks.
Funny, Danny, you mentioned like where did we get it from? One of my first, my dad was a classical musician, so he was conducting the local choral society and all that jazz. But I remember one day he brought home a vinyl, a 7-inch that he'd played with a rock band. And I'm like, Dad, you're in a rock band? And it was just a local band of a couple of his students who asked him to play keyboards on a track. And the very first record I ever heard my dad play on was a song called Don't Be an Asshole. And I'm like,
hey, that's solid advice.
Yeah, it is. It is. But it's funny how the sense of humor just carries on perfectly.
And he was a big baseball fan as well. And I know a lot of that gets passed down for IFG too. Even wasn't your first team the Mets?
I know. My dad was a big Mets fan, so I always say he loved me enough not to infect me with that. And so when 1998 came around and Sammy Sosa was hitting dingers out of Wrigley Field on WGN, here I am.
I was an accidental Mets fan for a little while when I lived out there. And Danny and I wanted to go to games, and we're like, well, we can't be Yankees fans. Although we tried that day.
Yeah. I always tell that story. We went to a suspended game, Yankees-Tigers.
Yep.
And we were like, root for the home team. And we're there at Yankee Stadium. And the Yankees just started piling on runs. And they were winning by like 1 million. Yeah. And Brian and I were just sitting there miserable, just natural. Hey, remember when we said we were going to root for the Yankees? We just could not accomplish it. We're just like, go Tigers. We're just
not even for one day.
No, we couldn't handle it. I finally was able to get your dad there.
Thanks, man.
There he is sitting at the keyboard.
Yep.
It's so thanks for going on with his legacy and giving to Heather's thing and helping people with cancer and stuff. So I'm going to play another song. This one was requested by one of the ranters in the Discord. But I don't know. We were talking about it earlier whether the Cubs will sell at the trade deadline or be buyers and try to actually win this dog shit division. But here's a song. It's a little shorter than the other one called Hug Watch. And it's all about, looking for those hugs in the dugouts when trades are about to happen.
Hug watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug watch. Hug watch, what do you got? Don't wanna give up nothing, but you wanna get a lot. Division contenders wanna take all of the players. Well, they're filling up the system with a bunch of teenagers. Hug, watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug, watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Watch. Watch. I was hoping that they'd offer you a new contract, but now the bullpen catch is gonna help me a pack. All the fans are sorry to see you go. Sayonara, arrivederci, au revoir, adios. We're singing hug, watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug, watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Watch, watch. Let's hug. Wishing you the best of luck with your career. The time went by so quickly, but say goodbye to Wrigley. Cause you can keep on playing, but you can't play here. Singing hug, watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug, watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Hug, watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Hug, watch, watching for hugs. All your favorite players getting traded from the Cubs. Watch, hug, watch, hug, watch, hug, watch.
I should mention that the new album is available on all the streamers now. It's on Amazon Music, Pandora, Bandcamp. It's got
nice.
Spotify, YouTube Music, all the whatever you use, it's probably up there, and you iTunes or Apple Music, whatever it's called. But the way that it helps the band the most is if you go to sunranto.com/bleacherbum and you buy this t-shirt that I'm wearing right now, the brand new Bleacher Bum Band shirt. It'll cost you $30, but you also get to download the album. And because it's a shirt and an album, you get a shalbum, if you will. And it is a higher quality file than you can hear on any of those other streamers.
Right.
This is a high quality WAV file, and it'll just sound better. Plus, the Steve Garvey Harry arms is slightly different. because I couldn't put the actual broadcast in the one I uploaded to the streamers because I didn't have the express written consent of Major League Baseball, nor did I seek it. So anyhow, please go to sunranto.com/bleacherbumband. Go to sunranto.com, click on Bleacher Bum Band. You can buy it there. That's the way that you help us be a rock band and pay for our rehearsals and stuff like that. Jarrett, it is your first Father's Day as a father.
Oh, congrats.
Thank
you went out and you got matching hats with your son. So there's your hat.
Yeah.
JWG on
That's
a green hat, and your son Grant got GCG.
That's great.
Oh, cute.
So
yeah, my wife got me those. I got those for us. That was a Father's Day gift. Surprised me this morning.
They're these lovely. Are those wool?
They're warm. I don't know.
They're these lovely, like felted green baseball caps. If you're not watching on video, yeah, just lovely.
Yeah, they're nice quality. Yeah, she does good work like that. And yeah. There's Grant. Yeah, it was. It's been a nice little day.
Very cool. Congratulations on your first Father's Day.
Thank you.
Alara writes in, says, still gonna buy the Shalbum on payday. Well, I hope that payday soon, because then that payday is going to be for the Bleacher Bum Band. More rehearsal, Jarrett.
Yeah. You know, someone tweeted out about, or someone mentioned them talking about Ashland Avenue today for the foul ball. Was that Joe Girardi that made that mistake? That was hilarious on Peacock. Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Kenmore and Ashland. Yeah, the album cover is the corner of Kenmore and Waveland. So, but he said Ashland, which is quite to the west. But I think he might have gotten it mixed up with Addison.
Still.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some producer should have been.
I'm just saying, if every time I screwed up what street is, I don't even know. I know what street's to the left of me when I go out the house, but I always forget the name of the street to the right. I couldn't tell you if there was a gun to my head right now. I could not tell you.
I understand. Yeah.
So I'm like, it's the one right before the lake. Like I don't think in things in terms of the street name, you know, like I think I got ruined by New York City because it's like first, second, third, you know, you don't have to worry about this kind of thing. You know, it's numbers. It's all you had to deal with. I didn't have to think of names. So I'm bad at the street names. So anyhow, I guess that I'm going to play another song at the end of the show. But I'm going to do some quick announcements. Anything to add, anybody? Like, Brian, you got anything? Like, what's going on with you?
Oh, God, not enough. And yet too much at the same time. I don't have anything online yet for 10-4 Dinosaur, but keep an eye out for that. And please.
We'll have you back on.
But like whatever you can do to donate to Heather, whether it's points or cash or fruit basket. No, not fruit baskets.
She didn't want any freaking fruit.
Anything you can do to help out, please do that, because fuck cancer. That's my message for today.
Cool. Fuck cancer indeed. Yeah, I think we've all lost people, and like I know my dad was cancer. So you know, it just anyway, thanks for everybody helping each other out. I did want to as long as we're in like a downer mode for the moment, I'll
sorry.
No. I got more.
It's a remembrance. It's a somber mode.
Yeah. I got more depressing things to say actually. So you know, and that is
great. We can count on you, man.
Yeah, no, I could go negative with the best of them. So, but no, I don't know. Some of you guys might know Chris Hagstrom Jones. He works for the South Bend Cubs. He's the one that hooked me and Bleacher Jeff up with singing the national anthem.
Oh, cool.
July 8th, which I'll talk about in a second when we're all going out there and doing like a little event and another Bleacher Bum Band show. But Chris lost his dad. So there's a GoFundMe for that Chris is doing for his dad right now for a youth football league that he was really involved with. So anyway, I'm going to share that right now. I also want to share that we as part of the money that we raised very recently for Levante's son, we're going to buy a condolence jersey. I just was sick of like asking everybody for money. We had like $500. So that's what we're doing. I'm giving some money. We're going to buy a condolence jersey for Chris. I gave to the GoFundMe of Chris's today. But if you wanted to add on to that, You could also, we learned of last week about Val Capone's tall dad. Like, so I don't know if it's a real dad or some like dad that she has, or I don't know. Dad's coming off form. So either way, Val calls him her dad, and there's a GoFundMe for his medical bills right now. He's having trouble paying the rent. And so the last thing anybody needs to think about when they're trying to heal from a sickness is paying your freaking rent. So help with that. I just dropped that GoFundMe. I also gave $50 to that from the ranters. So I'm just kind of like doling out. I took a vote on the Discord and said, hey, can I spread the love with this money? And everybody said, yes, let's spread the love around. A lot of people need help. So that's what we're doing. Now to the good stuff. We are getting together at the South Bend Cubs game on July 8th. Bleacher Jeff and I are going to be singing the national anthem before we do a show over at God, I keep forgetting the name of this place. Jared, what's the name of it?
Is it the same? Is the arcade place we played last time? I don't know.
No, we're not playing there. We're playing at the Coney, the dive bar.
Oh,
something.
That narrows it down.
I don't know if I ever knew.
Don't you remember the dive bar? Come on.
Yeah, they were nice there. That's all I remember.
Anyway, we're playing there. I just dropped the link for it in the chat here. I'm gonna find out real quick where we're playing. It's McCormick's Coney Island.
Right, of course.
Remember we were hanging out with Toast? Don't you remember this night?
Yes.
We were hanging around with a man named Toast.
Yeah, no, he was cool. And I remember that bar. It was nice. Okay, cool.
And if you want tickets to this, there's a link that I've shared in the event I just shared. And it's we're all sitting together. So it's fivo.me. I'll just put it up real quick and you can copy it down. But I dropped the link to this in the chat as well. If you want tickets to the South Bend Cubs game, I will share this more on my Twitter and on Facebook. And there should be no excuse to not know that this is what we're doing. But we are going to all be hanging out together at that game. We got a block of seats, real good seats too. And I think they're only like $15. So come on out.
Good excuse to go to South Bend if you have any other reasons.
Yeah. We're going to jam out, have a good time. So TFCs, these flexing cubes. I have one. Did you have one? IFG? I think you had one.
Kind of. Sure. Can I share something that I've been watching happen in the chat right here? Because I know not everybody is able to see it. But over here in the chat, David Elliott is telling this delightful story of his dad. Since it's Father's Day, I wanted to share it. He says, my dad has played 55 consecutive seasons of softball now. I learned how to keep score by watching his team's games. He says he's played every summer since he graduated from high school, and every year he makes his jersey number his age. Currently, it's at 72. I just love that so much.
Wonderful.
That is very cool. And guess what? David Elliott will be in South Bend. So if you want to meet the amazing David Elliott, he's already got his tickets to Four Winds Field, only $14 per ticket. So that's what a bargain. You can't even
afford not to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And then on top of that, I have just a little weird baseball thing that I just accidentally discovered. Codified was talking about how much of a glorious unicorn Ohtani is. And he says, Shohei is leading the major leagues in home runs and RBIs and total bases and extra base hits and slugging percentage and probably some other things too. And I looked it up, and he's also leading the major leagues in hits per 9. And while I was looking that up, I noticed this. That under WAR for pitchers overall in MLB, the current leader is our own Marcus Stroman at 3.6 WAR, according to Baseball Reference. But I found it amusing that numbers 5, 9, and 10 are all guys named Gray.
That's nuts. Wow.
It's a good year for Grays.
I guess so. I don't know. I never dress in gray. That's not really my color.
Aren't they aliens though?
Oh, I love gray.
Yeah, the Grays are the aliens,
right.
There was a whole team called the Grays in the Negro leagues.
True,
the Homestead Grays.
Grays.
Yeah, from Pittsburgh, right?
Yep.
As well. See, it all comes full circle. We're back in Pittsburgh. So, yeah, I got a couple TFCs. This one was kind of funny. I saw this. This is a nice Father's Day uh, event game that father's playing with his son. Theo von Hohenheim. How do you say this? Theo von Hohenheim. He says, my son and I are playing our favorite Nick Madrigal game. Weak pop-up or weak grounder.
That's a refreshing change from the very same Jason Hayward game.
Yeah. What a good time.
So, and I also have this one that I enjoyed. It's that meme of the 3 dragons where like the first and second dragon are fierce and the third one has googly eyes and his tongue hanging out. If you've seen this meme before, all these dragons have Cubs hats on, and sad Cubs fan Ben says literally every 3-game series, because that third game of the Cubs just can't win game 3.
Except against us.
Yeah. Well, you and the A's are the only team that we closed that out against.
Well, they're AAA. That doesn't count.
Yeah, I totally agree. Although they did sweep
they beat us. Yeah.
They swept the Brewers too.
Yeah, they beat us 2 out of 3. So,
God, the NL Central really is as bad as advertised.
Bad as Austin Hedges, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I did have one more. Did you have another one, IFG?
I shared what I had.
Okay. So
we can look at Rich Hill again.
I love Rich Hill. Now, can you imagine if Rich Hill had been a Cub this whole time? What a legend he would be. Just popping that curveball in there. Happy. What was his first year?
2005.
Man. Like that's over something. Yeah.
He is currently the last remaining member of the 2008 Cubs to still be playing baseball.
I know. Zambrano's trying to make a comeback again, I heard. Out of his church.
Wow, really?
Always. Every year he's trying to make a comeback.
Yeah. He's coming. He's not even 40 yet.
I do have something else I can show off if you like.
Please.
There is let's see, where did I put those pictures? Where did I put them?
I can show something while you're looking for it.
Okay, you do that.
Okay.
I know I saved them. I just can't remember where.
So this is kind of funny. Al Yellen from Bleed Cubby Blue, he went to the game on Saturday and he got a bobblehead at the game that was supposed to be Boog Sciambi and Jim Deshaies, but he got a double Jim Deshaies. And there's no Boog on it, which I found
creepy.
Yeah, well, I found it kind of crazy.
I think it sounds better.
Well, yeah, it does, and I thought that was hilarious because Al has been quite vocal in his dislike of Boog Sciambi on the broadcast, or on his blog. He does not like the Marquee Network, so I thought it was funny that he got the 2 JDs, and I did text Al to see if this was true or if he just like swapped some heads on his bobblehead to make it look like this, and he says no, this is absolutely just a production error. As far as I know, it's the only one. He's like, I'm going to go to see if I can get JD to sign it twice.
Does this mean somewhere there's a double Boog bobblehead running around out there scaring children?
Gotta be.
We're talking about shoes.
Yeah.
Right.
Sneaker talk.
Getting excited for the other team making a great play.
Yeah. Oh, what a play. You're like, dude,
wow. And that's the 3rd out. We're out of here. Everyone have a good day.
So hashtag chance in the chat. And just a reminder that this show, the Sun Ranto Show, was brought to you by our 116 Patreon supporters. This show does not happen without you. Patreon.com/sunranto. If you want to join on, it's only $1 a month. And then also Blake Beard's tickets at the Blake Beard. If you want a sweet set of tickets, Rogue Wave Creative for your branding, graphic, and web design needs, and the Cubs PS Plus podcast, a North Side numbers game. That's who brings you the Sun Ranto Show. Those are the super ranters that are dear and near to our hearts. Now, hashtag chance in the chat, and you could win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me. And I'm going to share my screen to the giveaway tool. And we're about to draw a chance postcard.
No.
And also join us afterwards on the Discord, little post-show action. A lot of names going around here. Who will be the winner? It's Carrie Baraner-Meyer. Congratulations, Carrie. You are the winner of the Frank Chance postcard. I believe that might be your first win of the year. Not sure, but congratulations. Jarrett, I had a lot of fun playing music with you on Saturday.
It was a blast. People were so friendly and nice too.
Absolutely. Brian, I always enjoyed playing music with you.
Always a pleasure.
IFG, we need you on the next album. What can I say? You got it.
Dude, yes, I'm in.
At your own peril.
Oh, it's always at my own peril with Danny. I know.
We got to make a new band, a side project, shoegazing scream rock.
There we go.
What do you say?
I'm in.
So, I don't know. What should I play? Jarrett, what should I play?
We are the Cubs.
We are the Cubs. All right. Might as well. Let's go out on a high note. We did win 5 games in a row this week. Winning streak of the year. I don't know if we're going to top it. So let's just celebrate the moment while we have it. We'll see you all in the Discord afterwards. Rock on. Thank you for watching. And we will see you next week. Spagog, y'all.
Spagog.
Tune into 670 on my AM radio. The Cubs are gonna win today. We'll be singing Go Cubs Go. Let's hear it for Chicago, the world's greatest fans. We'll have a ball and catch it all on Clark and Addison, singing Chicago fans, we are the Cubs. Whoa, 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 we are the Cubs. Sunshine in the bleachers, ivy on the wall, in the stands with all the fans. It's great to see you all. Take me out to the ball game, take me out to the crowd. The Cubs are gonna win today. Everybody sing it loud, singing Chicago fans, we are the Cubs. Whoa, whoa. We are the Cubs. Let's go out to Wrigley, hot dog and a beer. We believe in the Cubbies, it's gonna be our year. Let's root on the players, let's cheer on the team. And in the fall we'll party like it's 2016, singing Chicago fans, we are the Cubs. Whoa, 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 we are the Cubs. We are the Cubs. We are the fans. Whoa, we are the Cubs. We are the fans. We are the Cubs. We are the Cubs. We are the fans. We are the Cubs. Whoa, we are the Cubs. We are the fans. We are the Cubs. Chicago fans, we are the Cubs.